Say this again at the end of the video, but I think it bears repeating in the beginning. I use Notion for a specific task, but I mainly focus on Trello, Zapier, and Make.com for my automations. However, listen, if you're a Notion girly and you really abide by using Notion, I am offering to create customized templates for you at half the discount that is offered when you just go to these stores like Etsy and download the templates. So again, I'm going to repeat. If you hire me using the link that's in the description box below, I can customize a template specifically for you at half the price that you would pay for a template online. So if you, after watching this video, if you're convinced that Notion is still the one for you, then fine. Hire me and I will create a customized template for you based on what I use Notion for and what would best serve your needs. But now let's go into the video about how I operationalize everything using Trello, Make, and Zapier. Okay, so I'm first just going to show you the layout of everything, like what I go to as my main switchboard to know what's coming up and what's on the horizon for me work-wise. And then we'll get to how everything is automated so that they all sync up with each other. So my main dashboard, I know that everybody, all girlies, love Notion, but for me, I want something that is very simple, very intuitive, very easy to navigate and see in one overall look what it is that I'm doing. And for me, that's a Trello board. So this is the overall workspace. And I'm just showing you basically the different type of boards that I have in order to not have too much information up in front of me and me feeling like I'm having overload and being overstimulated. Shout out to the ADHD girlies. So I have two main switchboards, if you want to call them that. One is my personal main to-do list, which sometimes has work task on it because I don't want to keep switching back and forth between seeing how personal things I have to do during the day align with also the work that I have to do during the day. So that's the main to-do board. Sometimes there's a mix of personal and professional there. But then my main switchboard for all things that have to do with my company and task and meetings that I have related to work is on my main company board, which is named after my company. So each and every day, I'm going back and forth between these two boards, the main to-do and my business switchboard. Now, I have two boards on Trello that are my main switchboards that I go back and forth between, which is my main to-do list for my personal task, which is a mix of personal task and work task because I want to see where my personal checklist things that I have to get done, like going to the DMV, whatever, fall into place with deadlines for work. One thing that I will also mention is that then I have separate boards that are project-based that I only look at when I'm alerted by a vendor that I'm working with or by like a contributing writer who's writing an article for me about a deadline of a task that they're working on for me. My contributing writer assignments. So anytime I hire somebody who's writing for the newsroom, they join this board and they have all their information about how to list our writing style, what is the assignment, the specific topic that they need to write about. And then again, they communicate all that they need to about their progress on their assignment in that board. So again, I don't have to go through email searching and saying, okay, what did this person say about this and about that? The whole communication chain is in one place in a Trello board. And then customer service. So when I have people purchasing things from me, booking a service, it goes to this Trello board and it just reminds me to fulfill that order or to fulfill that service. So let's look first into the personal to do. Now it's going to seem overwhelming at the beginning, but I really only scroll over to this section and look over here for the most part when I am working day to day. And you can see that what I do for the day-to-day task or to do is I will name the Trello list according to the date. I just have them in like sequential order so that I know, okay, this is what I have to do for today and this is my workload for the next day. Sometimes I'll move things from one place to the other, and that's why I love Trello, because you can literally say, okay, I have way too much on my plate on this date. So let me move something over to tomorrow since I only have 3 things there right now. Pending ongoing is things that I do on a day-to-day basis. So it's not that it's only something I'm doing on this Wednesday, December 18th, but it's something that I do. For example, I'm constantly backing up my information to the cloud. I don't want to forget that, so I always send a reminder for that. I check support tickets every day for customers. And so in addition to my ongoing task and also the specific day task that I have on my list, I have things that I archive, cards that I archive for reuse. So maybe I'm not working on those things this week, but rather than delete the card and have to recreate it all over again, when I do have to go back and do it again, I just archive them here and move them. For example, reminder to add a PayPal donation button to my Substack newsletter. If I know that I'm going to be scheduling a newsletter, which I am going to be doing this today, then I'll just move this here as a reminder. And also, this is important, I'll go into the card and then I will put the date for today. Let's just say at 9 a.m. Well, actually, no, the newsletter goes out before that. And then I'll set a due date reminder. So a desktop alert will come up on the bottom of my screen, and I'll show you that in a minute. As I'm going through these video edits, I'm realizing that it seems very operationalized and very meticulous. And so I wanted to let you know that the reason why I am so anal in setting up all these different alerts and the way that I set up my system is truly because of my ADHD. I don't know how many of you out there are suffering with it, but for someone who has so much going on in their brain and their brain operates not in the neurotypical way, you constantly need aids to help you stay on track, to make sure that you're continuing to retain the most important information in your brain as possible and execute on it when you need to. I think that's the most important point. So as someone with ADHD, executive functioning is something that I need an extreme amount of assistance with. And so those constant alerts, those constant reminders keep me on track. So this is just information for me to have as resources for when I'm doing my day-to-day tasks. So for example, if I'm preparing a Substack newsletter, I'll come here sometimes under links, and instead of trying to remember, okay, where did I put that copy of a photo that I wanted to share with my Substack audience, I could just come here under this card, Trello and Google Drive organization, and I have links listed under there that take me directly to the information I'm looking for. So as little thought processing in terms of trying to remember where things are organized. And mind you, to set this up first, you have to do a lot of work. And so it might feel overwhelming when you're setting this up in the beginning, but I set this up over 3 years ago. So now it's just a piece of cake. Things that are on hold, but I need to remember to circle back to it. So this is the main, what do you call it? Switchboard. So again, a mix of personal and professional things here. And now we'll go over to my business board and see how I organize that. Again, I have things here that are sensitive, so I don't have all the things explicitly laid out. But this is a huge component of my automation, because one of the things I noticed that with scheduling meetings, for example, I have a meeting coming up, but sometimes even those alerts are not enough. And even though I have those alerts on desktop and on my phone, sometimes I really still forget. But I told you, I'm always honed in and looking at my 2 switchboards on Trello. So one thing that I've automated is that even though Calendly, which is the automation tool that I use for scheduling meetings, even though that will automatically put meetings onto my calendar for me, I also have a Zapier, I think is how you say it, automation that puts any Calendly meeting that's booked here on under meetings and deadlines, and it automatically creates a deadline, which is based on when the meeting is going to happen. And then it notifies me that, hey, somebody just scheduled a meeting with you. So this is a meeting that I have today. And again, it's going to remind me 2 hours in advance that the meeting's coming up. And then I can always, when it shows up on the desktop notification, I can change the reminder again to an hour, etc. Just because I need those constant, what do you call it? Instead of saying reminders again, I need those constant check-ins to say, hey, you have a meeting coming. So in Trello, automations are under this lightning bolt icon here. And you would go under rules to tell Trello how to respond when certain actions happen on the board. And I'll show you the main ones that I have set up. So again, I see my Trello board as a checklist, as a digital checklist. So one of the main things that I set on before anything else is this one that you see at the top. When the due date for a card is marked as complete by anyone, move that card to the top of the done list. And then when the done list has more than 5 cards, archive them all. So I wait until 5 because I would like to see also on my done list, okay, what have I accomplished? You know, like a checklist when you see that satisfying red check mark next to something that you got completed. So that's why I wait until after 5, because I also just don't want to, if I kept it like all the cards that I've ever checked as done from the past 3 years that I've been using the system, that would be a very, very long list. So after 5, I say, okay, now you can archive them and we can start new. So let's say that this meeting that I have here on this demo board happened already. It was a successful meeting. We had a successful call, etc. So what I can do is just literally click here and say task has been done. And you'll see that it will move all the way over here to done. So the card is complete and is now in the done list. Another thing is that sometimes just life gets ahead of me and I will have a task that was due and I will miss the due date that I set for myself. So another automation that I have is that before this, they're supposed to, okay, here we go. When a due date more than 1 day ago is set on a card. So for example, I was supposed to do something Tuesday, yesterday, and I never did it. So now it's more than 1 day due. Trello will automatically move the card to a list called overdue. And then over here, when the list overdue has more than 3 cards, which means I am really falling behind, I'm really slacking off with what I'm supposed to be doing, I will get an email saying, hey, you good? What's going on? So that's another way of holding me accountable. So before we go over this Zapier, because I just want to show you, in general, how I use automation, not just for that little thing. Under my resources, I have a list of all the automations that I have set up so that I don't have to guess and try to remember, okay, what did I set up in the background to make sure that things flow properly. How you align your calendar with your Trello board if you're using Trello as your main switchboard, like I mentioned before. And clearly, I need to tell Google that I am not a robot. These things always intimidate me. Let me know in the comments below if you ever feel sometimes or question if you are an actual human when completing these tests. Oh my God. Because does this count? Do I need to add this? Okay. I am real. This is not a simulation. So, in Zapier, you can create automatic workflows. So let's say we want to create a new Zap automation. Type into its Copilot AI a prompt saying what you're trying to accomplish. So let's say what I'm going to show you right now, which I already set up. Send, or better yet, create a Trello card whenever a new event is created in the Google Calendar. And then you can hit send and Copilot will list out the tasks that you need to add to your to your Zap. So you don't have to worry about, normally you would have to click in here and then decide which app that you were going to choose. But I love that Copilot just tells you, okay, based on what you said, these are the 2 things you need to add to make your Zap work. These are my main Zaps, the ones that are switched on at least. And again, it's to create the card from Google Calendar event, grant deadlines to Google Calendar, and I don't know how this works, to be honest with you, but I wanted to keep track of how my YouTube subscribers list is growing. By the way, if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. And I just wanted to see how it's growing over time, to see if there are certain videos that, for example, triggered a higher number of subscribers than others. But anyway, Trello card for Google events. So this is set up we're ready. And like I said again, it's configured so that the name of the meeting in Trello is going to be the summary of, or the title, I should say, in Google Calendar. And then the description is going to be the event details, like the start and end time, the location, which is usually a link because I am doing a lot of meetings virtually. I do label it as a red so that I know that it's an urgent thing to pay attention to, again, positioned at the top. And then I add myself as a member so that I see the desktop alert. And then the due date, like I mentioned before, is set to the date that the event begins. So whenever someone schedules to meet with me, that's the due date. Make.com is also really popular now for automation, and I want to be fully transparent that no, I am not physically going on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook and physically posting updates on what's going on with my company or any new content that we've created. I need that process automated so I can think about other things that has to do with running my business. And so what I do is I have make.com. I don't have a social media manager. So the next best thing is making AI tools do it for me. It's not 100% perfect. And I'll tell you why in a second, but it does, again, take a lot off of my plate. And as you saw on my demo main to-do list, I just go in every now and then and check on the automations to make sure they're actually running properly and that they're producing content or summary of my content that I think is of high quality. So one of the main things that I have make.com do for me is to create captions that summarize I use make.com to summarize the main key points of articles that I post to my newsroom. And then I have those captions posted to LinkedIn, Facebook, and then later on also Instagram to let people know that, again, new content is. Here we'll go to how I automate the creation of captions. It took a while. This field looks so complicated, but it works now. It works to some extent. So we have a mix of Perplexity, Google Sheets, ChatGTP, and then of course the social media platforms that I want things to be posted on. So you always need one triggering event to happen in Make that will set up the whole chain of events. So basically what I do is whenever I have created a new article on my newsroom, I will put that link to the article in a Google Sheet that's titled whatever. And then this will watch for any time a new row has been added to that Google Sheet, which means it's time to trigger Perplexity to write a summary of that article that ChatGTP will then use to create a caption. So I'm going to repeat that. Perplexity writes the summary of the article that I published to my news, and then ChatGTP will create the caption from that. The reason why I like the Perplexity doing the summary first before going to ChatGTP is that Perplexity just has more quality in terms of understanding what it's reading within a piece of content and actually giving back factual information about what was in the article. ChatGTP not so, rather just have a neutral base first for ChatGTP to work off of. So that's why I like having Perplexity first, and then ChatGPT taking that summary and creating a shorter caption. And Perplexity's summary can be as long as it needs to be to make sure that the key important points are in that summary so that ChatGPT can create the best caption summarizing that article. So then once that is created, the caption, ChatGPT then puts the caption into another spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet, it gets the captions sent to Facebook and to LinkedIn. And as you can see here, this is scheduled to happen automatically at 9 a.m. So I don't even need to come in here and do anything. It is just running as a machine on its own. 9 a.m. comes, it runs the whole gamut. And all I have on my Trello board is a reminder that at 9 a.m. I want to go into this spreadsheet here and read the caption and make sure I feel like it meets my criteria for quality content. And I have a delay here. So it will delay the caption being put onto Facebook or LinkedIn until I have time to review it in the spreadsheet. and make sure that the stuff can of high quality before it gets sent out and published on Facebook and LinkedIn. What you hear on the podcast and what you read on the newsroom is still my thoughts, is still my original ideas. I just use this to quickly tell you that you should go listen to it or you should go read it. Last scenario that I have set up for automation on make.com is to take these captions that Perplexity and ChatGPT creates and then just create a IG post. Some YouTubers on YouTube have this set up to generate images using AI, which I don't like. What I do instead is I will find a image, and this is part of my to-do list on Trello. I will find an image that relates to the content of the caption that I know is going to go out at 9 a.m. And I'll put the link to that image in a spreadsheet for make.com to use instead of auto-generating an image from AI. But then after it takes the image from the spreadsheet link, it then takes the caption from the spreadsheet here and then just combines the two. So sometimes when you see a post on Instagram, the image and the caption came from here. The caption comes from this automation, and then the image comes from whatever link I put in the spreadsheet for this scenario in make.com. Okay, I just moved over to my camera, my handheld camera, versus being on Loom still. So that's basically behind the scenes of my automation, how I'm managing my productivity. I'm probably going to add some tweaks to it for 2025 based on things that have worked and have not worked. If you have any suggestions, leave them below in the comments. And then here's my offer. I don't use Notion currently, and I do see that a lot of people feel like it is a much more beneficial tool, in their opinion, for keeping track of everything and having that be their main switchboard like Trello is for me. Let me know in the comments below if you are really, really gung-ho and a strong disciple and advocate for Notion. Because if you are, what I can offer is that I do use Notion. I didn't show it in this video, but I do use Notion for some things. And if you are interested in seeing either a video of that or just having me create a template for you, you're going to see a link on the screen right now where you can let me know either one of the things that you want. If you want a video, or if you just want me to come in and automate this for you or create an automated Notion template for you. I was thinking about creating a template that people can just download, like that people have on these different stores like Etsy. I just don't have the time and capacity to sit and try to recreate my Notion workspace as a template for other people, unless you show me that you genuinely want it. Then I will do it. And rather than creating a template, I'd rather just customize it directly for you. So what you can do is, again, on the link that you'll see on the screen, and it'll also be in the description box below, book a time with me, and I'm going to offer it at maybe half a discount than you'll see for the templates that are on most of these websites, because I want to test the waters and see your interest in having me come in and help you customize this Notion template specifically for your needs. So again, it's going to be at a discount. You'll see the discount in the link when you click on the when you click for more information below. And also, if you want a video on how I use Notion, also leave a comment below. I'd rather do that than create a whole process of video and create a whole template and then nobody buys it. So if you want me to, again, customize it directly for your needs, you can book me. You can book me for at least an hour and I'll just customize it for you. Otherwise, let me know in the comments below if my Trello system, along with Zapier and Make, is something that you find useful, because that will also help me know in the future how I can make videos that advise you on being more productive and handling all your tasks in a nice and easy flow. All right, until next video, stay safe, happy holidays, and I'll see you soon.